Hey folks, I told you I'd do this video a while back and it's about knife laws. I'm going to give you guys the link to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia can be wrong and it can be fibbed a little bit, but it's a really great place to go. And there's some really interesting stuff. I'm just going to hit some of the high points and give you some examples of what I got, because a lot of you aren't going to go to the article and read it. But I've lived in a lot of these different countries, and I know what you can get away with and what you can't get away with. Like, for instance, I lived in Japan, and I carried a knife all the time. The police in Japan, they don't really enforce much of anything. The police there are completely ineffective. They're more or less a cleanup crew, from what I can tell. For instance, if somebody's about to get murdered, don't call them. You want to call them after somebody gets murdered. A real protectionist society, kind of interesting. I know that might offend somebody, but after living there for 10 years, this is the experiences that I've had with them. So that's just 10 years of experience. But anyway, also I'm going to give you a link to another individual that talks about gun rights. He's a Japanese young man. He lived in America, and now he lives back in Japan. And he gives you a little information on the differences. You can kind of tell his beliefs on it, but it's another individual that has lived in America, lives in Japan, and he's not one of these people that has just seen one side and blabs his mouth like a lot of people do. He's seen both sides. He's lived in Japan and he's lived in America, and he's speaking from experience. We need more politicians like this. We need more people like this. If you haven't seen both sides, you might just want to keep your mouth shut and just listen to people that have seen both sides. And this individual has a lot of good information. So I'll give you a link to him also, and that will be below also this video. So it's going to be that link and the Wikipedia link. Okay? So real quick, something that I found really interesting. This Wikipedia thing, it goes through Austria, Belgium, Canada, China. Did you know the Czech Republic has no knife laws at all? None. Now, it's not socially acceptable to just walk around with a knife strapped to your, arm or your hip or whatever, but they have no knife laws. None. So you can carry any knife that you want. Okay? I thought that was kind of interesting. But what I found really interesting is we'll talk a little bit about American knife laws. A couple years ago, they were talking about making assisted folding knives illegal to be imported into America. What that would have done is it would have classified it as an automatic opening knife, which would have been something like a Benchmade. An automatic switchblade knife is a knife that you actuate by pushing a button. Why that's illegal, I have no idea. I guess they deem it dangerous. I don't know. It's just one of those dumb laws that the government comes up with. Alright, well, since I'm active duty military, I'm authorized to have this, because I guess I'm special and you're not. I don't know. So I have this for now, and I'm able to use it for now, as long as I'm active duty military. So this is legal in America for active duty military and law enforcement. This is legal for everyone else to carry, which is a locking blade 3 inches long. This is legal everywhere within the United States. Okay? Now, every state has its own law. Okay? So some states you can get away with a 3.5-inch blade. Typically what the cops will do, though, is they'll do the hand rule. If you got really, really big hands, for instance, they'll measure it with your hands. So for instance, if you've got a gigantic hand and you got a 4-inch blade, you can kind of get away with carrying a 4-inch blade knife. Okay? So it's kind of hard to explain, but the knife kind of has to meet the man, kind of thing. That's from experience. It's not a written rule, but that's just from my experience. I got a few guys that are cops, and that's kind of how they go by. So, and that's kind of what's legal in America. England has some really weird laws. Now, if you go to this Wikipedia's article, everyone else is pretty simple. And when it comes to United Kingdom up into 1950s was basically like America. You could have guns, you could have knives, you could have all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people always wonder, you know, I always talk about politics, and every once in a while you get one of these people going, you know, I really don't worry about it because I'm just one person. You know, I really can't change much. And what's one law? You know, it's not like everything's going to change overnight. Well, that's what people in the United Kingdom used to say. Well, now they have really basically no rights when it comes to knives, guns, basically anything. They're in a complete protectionist society. I know there's those of you that will disagree with me. And like I said, if you're used to living in a situation like that, you might enjoy it. And that's fine. For your culture, it might work. I respect that. Okay? You might enjoy it. That's fine. But for my culture, it doesn't work. So I'm speaking from a standpoint from how I live in America. Okay? If you look at the Wikipedia's article, it is just extremely complicated when you get to the United Kingdom. And one of the laws that I found really interesting is the Offensive Weapon Act of 1996. And that's like a catch-all. So basically, any weapon that they find offensive, if I use this as an offensive weapon, anything that they deem or you use as a weapon, they can consider bad. Like anything, I don't know, anything. You know, it's pretty crazy. You could turn around, kiddo. It's my cat. So I just thought that was really interesting that they have a catch-all for everything. Basically, you're subject to having knives such as this, your folders, your small folders, and you better have a good reason for carrying them. You don't really want to have these in the city, even still. You bring out something like this, it could still offend somebody, and it would be considered an offensive weapon. You're still not allowed to have this on school property. So anything around a school zone or an basically a school area, you're screwed. You cannot go anywhere. A small bushcraft knife, such as this, you would think you would be able to have something like this. You cannot, and that's because it has a locking mechanism, which we in America and everywhere else in the world, we think of this as a safety mechanism. In the United Kingdom, they do not think of this as a safety mechanism. This is considered an offensive weapon. Like you lock it and you can like kill people easier because it locks. Very fascinating. Their laws make absolutely no sense. How they come up with these laws, I have no idea. I've heard a few of our politicians talk like this, but I would have never thought that they would actually make laws like this. So it's really scary. When you hear politicians like this talk in America, you never would think that they would come up with laws like this. But when you look at other countries like the United Kingdom, they actually come up with laws like this, and they pass them, and they enforce them, and they send people to jail because of this. Now, I'm not saying America is perfect, because we jail more people than any other country in the entire world. But I'm just saying that when I'm just focusing on this one topic, so let's not attack America, because America has plenty of problems. But I'm just talking about knife rights and guns, okay? So let's just keep it in this realm, guys. All right? But, yeah, wow. Pretty interesting. So this, and back to Japan, really interesting. My wife, I'm in my 40s. She's also in her 40s. Not to give away her age, but we're 40, okay? When she went to school, every child had a knife, and you had a knife to sharpen your pencil. And these are the knives that they had. They were your typical, whoops, sorry. It's a Japanese friction folder, and you hold it such as this. Hopefully you guys can see that. I don't want to cut myself because they are razor sharp. And every child had one. These are, you can carry them, but they are, you can get arrested for these still. and you better have a good reason for carrying it. And that's just a traditional Japanese folder. I thought you guys would kind of like that. That was a present from my father-in-law, which is kind of cool, I thought. I collect a lot of knives, you guys know that. So I thought that was a brief overview about some knives with a little political stuff. I hope it wasn't too political. I'm sure I'll get some thumbs down because of that. Sorry. But hey, check out the article. Pretty cool stuff. But hey, watch your rights. You got to fight for them at every turn, because a right lost is a right never gotten back. You lose it forever. I mean, you're not going to get these rights back. Granted, that's been proven wrong when Washington, D.C. got their handgun privileges back. But, you know, anyway. Here's my cat. Isn't he great? Hey, kitty. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Look at the camera. Say hi. Okay. All right, folks. Y'all take it easy. Later.